Hashtag Obamagate. Do you guys know what that is?
Not at all, but
Oh, fuck, man. All right.
Obama.
I feel like the inventor of that word also doesn't know what it means.
Who's the inventor of that word?
I just saw Trump tweeting it.
Yeah, Trump.
Literally just
I just thought it
Obamagate.
was really funny when the reporter was like, "What is it?" And he goes, you know."
He is not good
He's
at
like,
saying what
"Can you be
he thinks.
specific?" You already know. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. There's no point of me saying.
it sounds like there's some shit that he might say on accident that's gonna get him killed.
Sure.
Oh, that'd be
Or
tight.
more likely he's just an idiot.
He does not know how to say these things.
Oh, it's Trump.
Yeah. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about someone else.
I also thought it's because if he said anything, then it's grounds for slander or it's grounds for defamation.
I'm sure.
You've never held him back
He
before.
tweets and says is
It's grounds for slander.
Really?
defecation.
Defecation is what it is.
He said a lot of things that were incorrect before, where it's like it sounds like fact, but it's not. So it's not like that's a problem.
Didn't he just tweet out like Obama didn't leave me any plan for how to handle a situation like this, and then they literally like left him, but he was like, "Fuck this," and we cut funding for it, like a 62-page manual on how to deal with pandemic.
Yeah.
Only 62 pages?
Pretty light reading.
Yeah.
So the whole base of Obamagate and the outline is.
It keeps you gotta enunciate the T.
Yes.
Oh, it sounds like Obamagate.
Yeah, so I always thought like he was gay, like he came out.
There is a big controversy about him perhaps being gay.
They also think that Obama is a terrorist.
Like Osama.
Yeah, it's too close to the name. So
Well, no, that's not why Obama or Osama Hussein.
Obama
Hussein.
Obama Hussein.
Barack Hussein.
Barack Hussein.
Obama.
There you go.
Hey, 3 drunk people just figured it out.
Yeah.
So leave him alone, okay? Leave him alone.
Cheers to that.
I'm saying, Jesus Christ, what do you want from us, okay?
the general idea of Obamagate is. The concept is so Obama, Joe Biden, and the former director of the FBI, Comey, and Ukrainian oligarchs got together and created that conspiracy of Trump working with Russia. And that's where it kind of all started.
Well, the idea behind Russia, the Russia collusion conspiracy theory, which it is now a conspiracy theory because none of it was fucking confirmed.
They investigated, but it didn't come true.
Robert Mueller said there's no conspiracy about Russia, right? He found and then he listed in his report a bunch of stuff that you could argue salacious, all this stuff, but none of it was like linked together into a conspiracy that proved anything. Okay, so now. The origins of all this came from a group called CrowdStrike who looked into the DNC server, and they, for years on mainstream media, everyone talked about how Russia hacked our democracy, Russia hacked our election, right? And then Facebook came out and said, yeah, they bought some ads on Facebook, they were pushing a bunch of shit. And we all know Russia likes to raise mayhem during our elections, that's a fact. So it wasn't much. They bought like what $100,000 worth of ads or a little more than that. But what we found out was that CrowdStrike actually didn't know for a fact, this just came out within the past couple days, that the DNC server was hacked by Russia. That's the biggest mic drop about all this. I don't even know about this Obamagate per se, because most of it has to do with Mike Flynn.
Obamagate is a rebranding really of Spygate.
Right.
From like a couple years ago.
Spygate.
It's a movie where there's a brother and sister and they have like gadgets.
Oh right, they had like 3 sequels.
Oh, so they're calling that Obamagate. It's not Watergate.
No.
I'm completely joking about it.
I don't know.
But Spygate, right? The idea that when Trump was running for office, there were FBI agents who were sent into his campaign. It's true, that happened. That absolutely happened. And they didn't tell his campaign that they did that, right? Because they were convinced that maybe he was working with the Russians.
And the biggest thing was the fact that the FBI was investigating an American citizen, right? But at the same time, they also say that happens thousands of times a year. So it's not like a brand new thing. But it's significant because it's happening to Trump's campaign.
Well, but it's okay. But the predication for it is what's fucked up about it, right? So they were able to take this dossier that they say was confirmed or whatever by the British government. Well, really by this guy named Christopher Steele, who was a former MI6. They say that that is what started all of this shit off, right? That they were able to use that. But really, we found out recently, in the New York Times article, that the dossier that they used to frame the entire investigation was based on Russian misinformation. So they were really projecting a lot of the, hey, we think they're gaslighting Trump in a way, because they're like, yo, you're working with the Russians while we work with Russians with a dossier that was paid for by the DNC that was Russian misinformation, that Christopher Steele sourced from Russian sources. That's what's fucked up about it, right? That's the real scandal to this, not this Mike Flynn shit, unmasking shit. All that shit is whack and lame. Like,
But that's the main shit that's like people are talking about.
right now, right.
So what that is specifically is for the Mike Flynn thing that you were talking about is everyone's accusing and telling Michael Flynn that he's lying to the FBI.
Well, he admitted
He did lie to the FBI.
He said that I lied to the FBI.
But
so he pleaded guilty.
Something else he said when he had realized this, he would not have lied to the FBI, probably.
So
Probably.
here's what's fucked up
who
about
knows?
this. Here's what's fucked up about this that I've seen, right? Mike Flynn lied to the FBI, right? That's what he said. He lied to the FBI. In the main, he lied to the FBI.
Yeah.
What he lied to the FBI about is what's fascinating, right?
What did he lie about?
So he was talking during the transition after Trump won the election. He was Trump's advisor, foreign relations, or what do you call that? Foreign policy advisor. And he basically was talking to this guy named Kislyak on the phone about, hey, Obama's trying to do all these sanctions about what just happened with you guys, the Russians interfering with our election. Don't do anything. Don't escalate the situation at all, right? That's what he said. Don't escalate the situation at all. The FBI had a transcript of Mike Flynn saying all this shit. So then they go sit down with Mike Flynn and they go, hey, we just want to talk to you about this phone call. No big deal. He's like, should I have a lawyer present? They're like, no, you're fine. They actually have a note that just got released too, which is part of this whole, part of what people are saying is fucked up about what the FBI did is, and I don't like this for anybody. That's what I'm talking. That's why, look, I have a Free Assange shirt on. Okay, I don't like it when people use our intelligence apparatus to frame Americans or to fuck over people who otherwise would just be political enemies.
But what do you feel about the actual actions outside of the framing too? Like we can be
Yeah.
mad at both, right?
Yeah.
So what do you feel about Flynn's actual actions in which he reached out to Russia to say that, hey, don't worry about it. We're gonna switch over to this new guy, and he's gonna be cool. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
so you're allowed to do that, right? So that's the other thing, right? Is like if you're moving in part of a transition, your job is to talk
but
to
that's
the other
before
governments.
the actual transition, right?
No, that
So
was during the transition.
because then it's I think when you actually switch from administration to administration, it was still during the
Former administration,
Yeah,
right? So they
yeah,
tried to
yeah, yeah.
right. So well, real quickly. So there's this note that says, "Hey, what should we do about Flynn here? We're about to interview him. Should we try to get him to lie or get him fired, or should we try to?" I can't remember what the third part of it, right? But the fact that the FBI would go into it with the idea of getting him to lie or getting him fired from the Trump administration, that's what people go like, ew, that's gross, right? And then what was your second question, real quick?
How do you feel about his actual actions, like Flynn's actions?
Of him lying?
Well, not him lying, but his actual
Reaching out to the government.
Yeah, reaching out to
Okay.
Russia and being like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about
That's
our guy
weird.
now. We got a new guy. Don't like he's gonna be cool."
So
And like going outside of the administration that's currently in place.
No
Like,
question.
not waiting until the switch where it's like, all right, he's going under new orders. He's going under the current orders to be like, "Don't worry about it." Don't worry
Right.
about
So that's what everyone calls the fucking, what the hell is it called?
The turn.
No.
The government.
No.
The king.
It's
it. What other words can we come up with?
I know.
Flip. I don't know.
No,
Cartwheel.
You know what I'm saying?
Transition.
The
Bananas.
elephant. The rooster.
Donkey.
hold on.
Cows.
The hornet.
No, it's called something. It's the it's the Logan Act. It's called the Logan Act, right?
So close.
The Logan Act is that you as a
Wolverine?
no, the Logan Act is that an American citizen cannot interfere with the foreign policy of the United States of America, right? And nobody's been tried for it for 100 years. So exactly what you're talking about is that you're like, hey, I think it's kind of fucked up. Totally fair argument. You can make that argument 10 times out of 10. You can make the argument, but is that legally wrong to do or illegal, right, is the question.
Wait, I thought the Logan Act you said was the part that made it illegal.
No, so the Logan Act hasn't been successfully tried or used in a prosecution for 100 years.
But technically it's there?
Yeah, it's there, exactly. So I could charge you with something from the 1800s that nobody's used as a law but because it exists on the books, they'll find that to use it against you. See what I'm saying? Like, you find me the man, and I'll show you the crime. It's like that idea behind it. Yes, there are laws on the books that are generally unenforced because many people in our government don't. They do kind of what they do, and we don't enforce every single law. We all know that, like including perjury, obstruction of justice. Like, hello, like, have you been paying attention for the past couple of years? Like, that's what I'm saying.
So,
It's Obamagate.
Obamagate, for people that don't know what the hell it is, the origins at its core is an old allegation given to a new name. So, as early as March 2017, Trump alleged that Obama had illegally wiretapped the billionaire businessman at Trump Tower during the 2016 presidential election campaign. So they're comparing this alleged surveillance to the Nixon-era Watergate scandal. That's why Obamagate, Watergate, it's wiretapping, right? So the following year, Trump claimed that the FBI had planted an informant inside his campaign, dubbing the alleged conspiracy Spygate. So it all came from that. That's where it all stems from. But then it goes into the main allegation for the Flynn investigation. And even though the FBI had no legitimate reason to probe the retired three-star general, Flynn, a one-time Democrat, served as the Obama administration's top military intelligence official before being forced out of the job later and aligning with Trump.
So Flynn is the guy you were talking about that did the Russian thing. Okay.
Yeah. So
And what I think is bullshit is the fact that the Trump administration is trying to say that unmasking Flynn is fucked up. I don't think that that's fucked up.
It looks shady the whole fucking time.
It happens all the time. It's not irregular. But what's fucked up is the way that I think the FBI came at Flynn. I think that should be looked into because I don't like the idea that it could happen to any of us, right? Where the FBI comes down on your ass and you have no defense.
But isn't FBI independent though? Like that's why they exist because they're supposed to be like neutral.
It's supposed to be, and that's always what the controversy is now, right? People are always saying, oh, they're leaning this way, they're leaning that way. Oh, FBI has always been
Right.
against
In a
Trump
perfect
because
world.
there are these employees who, like the text transcripts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of always really hard to say anybody's independent, and that's always the argument, right?
Right.
That they're currently against Trump.
Yeah, and look, Eric Holder said that he has Obama's back. Like the Attorney General is appointed by the president. So the idea that the Attorney General is independent from the president and all this shit is not reality. Like nobody thinks that.
But there's a lot of things that are kind of unfolding right now. It's too early to tell. Obamagate just recently blew back up. It's been something that's been going on since 2016 and 17, but I guess it's resurfacing now. But some people speculate that he's doing this to distance himself from Comey because this is like the first step to the whole James Comey thing.
Yeah. So the James Comey thing is the idea that Comey, he interfered with the 2016 election. He came out and said, hey, we're reopening the investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails because we found a treasure trove of emails on this laptop.
What fucking happened to that? It just stopped.
Yeah.
Well, so the argument there is that they found these emails on this laptop from Anthony Weiner, who is Huma Abedin's husband, and he got caught talking to an underage girl, and they seized his laptop, and they found all these Hillary Clinton emails on them, right? So then the FBI vetted them over a weekend, and in 3 days, Comey went from saying Hillary Clinton is back under investigation to she is cleared.
Oh my God.
Which probably interfered with the 2016 election, unarguably. Like, if you're talking about people going into a voting booth and they're wondering who they should vote for, and they just heard that maybe Hillary Clinton is still fucked up or whatever, or still dirty.
Yeah, the argument, I remember the big controversy
It's like
there.
being like, oh, she could be a killer, and then everyone goes and votes for the other guy, and they're like, nah.
Well, also the big controversy was that the FBI director never comes out and just makes a statement like that,
Yes.
let alone near an election.
So it's
That was the
weird.
problem.
It's so weird. And then after the election, we find out that Comey, working with what's called the 7-4 of the FBI, there is a belief that, well, it's not a belief anymore. Comey basically just admitted it, publicly, that he sent FBI agents into the Trump campaign, didn't tell the Trump campaign, which, by the way, is common practice. Yeah. If you were to send, if I'm supposed to do something with a presidential campaign that's pretty sensitive stuff, and we're in the administrative part of the government, the enforcement part of the government, we should tell the campaign what we're doing. And the fact that they didn't is spying. Yeah. And that's the whole part of it that people find fucked up, is like, you did spy, just admit that that's what spying is. I'm literally watching you for a crime. Right.
The FBI.
And I'm not telling you. Yeah. They
That's like tapping the mob. You should, in this case, they should have told him that he was under investigation.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that's all, right? That's what I think. I'm into civil liberties. I think that people have a right to defend themselves, and I think that people have a right to a fair trial, even a president. And so just because, you know, I know for a lot of people it's like, well, good, they're getting Trump, it's good. But it's not good if they get them through illicit means. That's all.
Because it's not due
It
process.
happened to the next guy. I bet you Bush spied on his fucking political opponents.
Right.
I guarantee he did. Because if Obama was able to do it with the FBI and what looks like the rest of our intelligence apparatus,
It also depends on the lens in which you look at that, right?
True, because they might have probable
Well,
cause.
also, is it like, is he spying on his political opponent, or is he spying on somebody who's committing illegal acts that happen to be on the campaign? And that's the argument. That's the other side of the argument.
But then I think, but what Joe was saying is like, if you're under investigation, they should tell you, hey, we're gonna investigate.
Not a lot of the times.
well, they
They
don't have to.
They don't have to if it's criminal. I mean, it just depends. Yeah, it depends on motive. Yeah.
But where it started was this guy named George Papadopoulos, who was a Trump national security advisor, and he was in Europe, and he got bumped up against by a bunch of CIA people and an Australian. And they basically said that he gave them information that Russia was trying to spy, or Russia was trying to, had information about Hillary Clinton, and they were trying to coordinate with WikiLeaks to release, to affect her campaign in a negative way. They were never able to prove that shit, by the way. Never able to prove it.
So that's what Trump was. They're trying to say Trump was fucked up with the elections.
They're trying to say that Russia interfered with our election.
Yeah.
They have now come out and said the whole basis for that was this DNC server that actually CrowdStrike says we weren't able to prove that Russia actually hacked that server.
Yeah.
So that whole fucking story has fallen apart.
Yeah.
And that story, by the way, you got called a conspiracy theorist 2 years ago if you even fucking questioned that. So now we're kind of in the middle ground, which is what I said earlier when he said, should we talk about this today? We're kind of figuring out all the pieces as they lock into place because we don't know yet.
At this, it's just unfolding right now. But I think it was trending, yeah, on Twitter, and you know, Trump was hashtag Obamagating.
Yeah.
It came out because the document became declassified, right? Is that what it was?
A couple of documents did, and including one about unmasking of several.
So then what happened? Say they find out Obama was doing that.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's done.
Yeah. So what's the whole point of going into it?
I mean, looking into how our public got down a rabbit hole of this Russian collusion conspiracy, which distracted us from the real issues.
Which was corruption within the Democratic National Committee, yeah,
And frankly, corruption in the Uniparty,
Yeah.
and the same reason why none of us, frankly, will ever have, I think, healthcare is because shit like this just pits one side against the other. It's the WWE, and they're all fighting each other in the ring, and we all just watch and go, yeah, get him, but we're not.
You can always look at it through different lenses, like why they bring it up now, just like why they bring up a lot of controversies. Like, is it strategic?
Always, dude.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's strategic because of what the news is focusing on and what we wanted to focus on instead.
Yeah.
And if they instead put all that focus and attention into something productive for us, then I think during a huge pandemic, we wouldn't have healthcare issues.
Yep.
Shit like that drives me nuts.
Both sides are wrong.
Right.
Exactly.
And they have us arguing about semantics and things that are completely pointless, and we waste our time getting angry at fuck Democrats, fuck Republicans, this and that, when we should be dealing with effective measures and things that can really change shit.
And they just reauthorized the Patriot Act yesterday, and a part of that, there's a provision inside of it that says we can seize anyone's internet history without a warrant. Fuck you. And
Wow.
30 Republicans voted for that, and 10 Democrats. And
So it passed.
Conveniently passed by one vote. So if you think that they didn't sit down and figure out how the fuck to make that work, make that split work, and make everyone look on the right side, you're nuts.